They've refined the art of slavery to the point that the slaves don't know they're slaves. But maybe that's maybe what this whole thing is about. They were bred us for slavery. They've been refining it. So now we got the redneck out there. I'm not a slave, man. I got my gun and I can go drive my pickup and go get a beer. I'm sorry, you're still a financial slave. And the way they've done that is energy and medicine. They have poisoned us, and the Bible tells you about. The Jews have Purim, and they talk about how they poisoned their masters, how they poisoned their kings, how they've done that over and over and over again because they are running things behind the scenes. Now, are these Satanists? Are they Jews? The Talmud is basically a satanic Bible, and I think on the latest edition they've got out of the Talmud, it says Satan right on it, doesn't it? Skip Baker
I've
send
heard
me a
that.
thing.
I've not seen that, but I've heard that. But once you look at the so-called Talmud, and you see that they're all kind of ugly. Again, if you think the Old Testament is ugly, what do you get to the Talmud? And it tells you that you can have sex, pedophile sex with children. It tells you all kind of horrible things. And again, it's a Jewish supremacist book. It's not, and again, the Talmud is not just one book. It is a huge collection of literature. The Sonsino edition of the Talmud is 50-something volumes, and they're coming out with a new, the Schultenstein translation. It's going to be 70 volumes. If you look at number of words, you probably got 5 or 6 million words. So essentially, the Jews can prove anything they want by quoting from the Talmud.
And Paul, what about the Kol Nidri? Come on, we take this vow every year. You can't hear it if you're a Gentile. They ask a question in the church, in the synagogue. Are there any strangers here? And we've got the testimony of somebody that was trying to become Jewish and was going to the synagogue for 2 years. But
Yes,
go ahead, sir.
that, that is true. The Conidre, we just passed the Hanukkah festival where the Conidre oath is repeated. And it essentially gives the Jewish people in the synagogue, every little synagogue, permission to say whatever they want, take an oath, and it is not binding upon them. In other words, they have permission from their scriptures, the Talmud, to lie and deceive. And that's, of course, as we know, that's what they do.
They've got that right on there. That's a slogan of the Mossad, of warfare by deception.
Yes, yes, warfare by deception, that's exactly what they do. And the whole state of Israel was set up by deception. When you look back at how that got started, and again, most of the so-called Jews who live in Israel are the Ashkenazi descent, and that is basically Jews from old Khazaria that converted a Central Asian nation that converted to Judaism back in the 800s. None of them have a drop of Semitic blood, yet today they are the majority of the Jewish people.
Yes, fit right in with them. Now, my guest is Harrel Rhome, Gnostic Liberation Front. Stay with me. We're going to do a second half with him. So stay with me for just a moment here.
I will be right here, sir.
right. All right. Second half of the show here. Harrel Rhome is my guest today. And there is quite a discussion going on the internet right now about another warrior out there, Xander, I believe is his name, and Zionist something. At any rate, they've been going back. One so-called Christian identity guy, one of these racists, and frankly, I don't care what color you are, I don't care what your religion is. The Constitution gives you the right to do that. If you want to bang your head against that wailing wall over there, knock yourself out. Just don't expect me to beat my head against the wall. If you want to get down on your hands and knees, stick your nose in the dirt, I'll just try to keep the St. Bernard off of you, you know. And if you're one of these Christian Zionists, which is basically, in my opinion, the same thing as saying I'm a Christian Satanist. Thank you. You know, the Constitution allows you to do that. If you want to hug a tree, go ahead, man. I got a set of splinters here. You know, the Constitution allows you to do that. Bill of Rights allows you to do that. But don't try to force me into your religion, and that's where we're going right now. But the controversy is over Christian identity. One patriot, supposedly one patriot. I don't know what we lost here. Did we lose something? Harrel, are you still with me? Call me back. Try getting back. Okay. All right. Just dropped you there, sir, but got you back now.
Yeah, I lost the call there, but yes, you're right. Today, what is Christianity, whether it's, regardless of what denomination it is, whether it's Catholic or Protestant or whatever, they're all essentially pro-Zionist. And you go to a Christian church and talk to people, oh, we must love the Jews because they're the chosen people. The Bible tells us that. God said that. And no matter what church you go to, essentially it comes down to that the Jews are the quote-unquote chosen people, and that they are especially blessed in some way. And all that's based on, again, that ugly book called the Old Testament. So I have very little respect for most Christian denominations because they're all so Zionist regardless of what else they have to say.
That's right. And now, what about Christian identity? Now, I have said, and I wrote a book about it. Together with Eli James.
I've read your book. Yes.
And I don't know quite what that was. It's a little bit of history, a little bit of the Bible thrown in. I don't have any problem with the idea that my ancestors were born into the tribe of Judah, in the Israeli tribe of Judah, and that we were enslaved by the Syrians, by the Babylonians, which I think are the same people as the Jews, the Pharisees, the banksters, the people that Jesus ran out of the temple. And I don't have any problem believing that my ancestors crossed the Caucasus Mountains, started becoming Caucasians, forgot who we are, turned left, and went to Germany. And that could be one reason why the Jews hate us so much, because we are the true children of Judah, the true white, Jesus, well, according to Pontius Pilate, was blonde-haired, blue-eyed. I don't have any problem believing that, but I have a little problem with Christian identity, this whole idea of a dual seed lines seems to come from the Talmud, the children of the snake, rather than the certainly nothing in the words of Jesus, part of the Old Testament bullshit. And here we got all the Christian identity guys going, Yahweh's good. Oh, Yahweh, 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 Yahweh. Are they really calling out to the devil? Because what's just been happening on the internet with the conflict back and forth. Well, Xander said this, Mike Delaney said this, and nobody's getting anything done. They're sitting there arguing. We're our own worst enemies, and we got a chat room going on there, and they're going to try to put me down or you down or anybody down, whether we're Christian, whether we're Muslim, whether we're Jew. They want us fighting with each other now.
Yeah.
Divide and conquer, right? Divide and conquer is what they've always used.
I anger a lot of people because I don't really believe in Christian identity. Again, it is based on the Old Testament, which I thoroughly reject. The people who believe in Christian identity, I really like. They're all white nationalists. I respect them greatly. But I think they're wrong about that religion. And again, it is based on the Old Testament, which is a very ugly book and an untrue book. The Jews created the Old Testament to read exactly how they wanted. And there is no reputable historian has ever come up with to back up anything about Christian identity. Again, the people that believe in that, I have respect for them. They're all white nationalists, and which I have great respect for. But I think they're wrong about that religion. And again, that probably angers a lot of people, but when you look at it, it is based on the Old Testament, which is a false book created by the Jews. And for you go back in history for about 900 years, the so-called Masoretic rabbis worked on the Old Testament. That was exactly like they wanted it. And when the so-called King James Bible was translated, the translation team, always when they had a dispute about translating this or that word or phrase, they turned to the Jews to help them with that. So what does that tell you? That modern Christianity, whether Christian identity or whatever other denominations you wish to bring in, it's all created by the Jews. It is a Jewish, Christianity is a Jewish religion. And I say, again, I said on radio before, the Bible is a Jewish book. It was written by Jews, for Jews, and for those whom the Jews wish to deceive. And essentially, modern Christianity is a religion of deception, that they have to believe that in their Old Testament, and again, the Old Testament tells us, oh yes, the God's chosen people are the Jews. So no matter what Christian denomination you go to, they all end up coming down in that position, which is a way that the Jews control the world. And again, I'm sure that I'm angering a lot of people by saying that we're angering a lot of people by saying that. But the facts are the facts. If you read about your Old Testament and look at, if you believe that the New Testament is the Word of God, where are the original texts? Why don't we have any of those around? We don't. The earliest documents about the New Testament are from the 500s and 600s. That's all we have. And apparently, the Romans, when they took over the religion, and again about 398 AD, Saint Rhome, named Hieronymus in Greek, created the Vulgate Bible, and apparently destroyed whatever other texts were available at that time. And for a long, long time, the Vulgate was the only Christian Bible available, and it is based on the Jewish writings. Again, I wish we had people could call in and talk to us about this. But let me give you a quick plug for my book, which is published by the Barnes Review. It's called From the Temple to the Talmud. And you can buy it at barnesreview.org, or you can go on Amazon, run my name, Rhome, and you'll come up with it. You can buy it on Amazon. It's a whole story about who the Jewish people are and what they really are about.
All right, repeat that, Harrel. Tell them and send me an email, and I'll make sure that's linked up under your show.
I will, yes, I will. I will send you an email in a while and do that. Yeah, my book again is called From the Temple to the Talmud: Exploring Judaic's Origins, History, Folklore, and Tribal Traditions. It is published by the Barnes Review, and you can find it out about it on barnesreview.org. You can Google my name, Rhome, or you can simply, if you prefer to use Amazon, you can buy it on Amazon again under my name, Rhome. You can find it. So I appreciate you letting me get that on the air.
No problem, sir. The what you know, I came out with Christian identity with my book, trying to tell people what the Christian identity people believe, because Homeland Security, in their assessment a few years back, they listed Christian identity people, and I've known Christian identity people around. Don't agree with them all the time. You know, I had a group that I attended. They didn't want my wife to come with me in a meeting, or they didn't want a woman coming into the meeting. And I said, well, that creates a problem because my wife's here. She's part of my business. She's going to be here. And I don't think there's anybody here that's going to kick her out. So you got to let this woman stay. And but they were good people. Now they tried to equate the Christian identity people as a threat, along with the militia, along with the veterans. And anytime a communist regime takes over a country, they go after three classes of people in order: the farmers, the intelligentsia, and the veterans, or the police that are still loyal to the old regime. That'd be any of us that still take our oath to the Constitution seriously.
That's absolutely the truth. Yes. Oh, yes.
Now,
very much. They want to get rid of them first.
The veterans are under attack. The farmers have been under attack for 100 years, and the people are under attack now. All it takes, folks, and this could happen tomorrow. President Obama could sign an executive order negating the Second Amendment, and what choice do you have? You give up your guns, and you're facing a slaughter of 60 million people. But if that gun's illegal now. Well, didn't they did that to a plant called hemp. They made hemp illegal. You can't even get high off of hemp. You got to work on it a little ways to be able to get a buzz off of it. What that was an attack on the farmers. We took our #1 cash crop and sent it to communist-controlled, Jewish-controlled Russia, then China. Now, is that? I mean, that's slavery. If a man, if a man with a badge can come up to you and say, "Is that marijuana I smell?" Whoa, you're going to jail. You live in a police state. Now, that means there's about 50 million people out there that have criminal records for smoking a pot, that can't own guns, that can't vote, and have been put into slave labor camps that we call prisons. We make more than just license plates. We compete with industry. You can work for IBM, but it'll only pay you 50 cents an hour. But you can work for IBM. This is prison. I hate to take something from Alex Jones, but this is a prison planet. We got more people in prison. To me, the only answer here, because I think that Democrats and Republicans are two wings of the same bird, and that's a global Jewish vulture. You know, you can tell by the nose. And the only answer here, I wrote about 45 years ago, and that's abolishing all laws against victimless crimes. Quit making people into criminals, as Ayn Rand said. The government has no control over honest citizens. so they have to make criminals out of us.
Yes, you are absolutely correct about that. The suppression of hemp, marijuana, cannabis is a plot to destroy a lot of what America is about. It's certainly no more dangerous than alcohol, and nobody tries to prevent that anymore. And yes, the prison system, most of it, the industries they have compete directly with private business, and the more people they have in there, they're slaves. And many of them are in there because they enjoyed using a bit of cannabis, which I don't see a problem with. You don't, but apparently the powers that be want to keep it the way it is. Thank God that some states are trying to move away from that. I had thought a long, long time ago, back in the 60s, that by now that all that would be legal, but that has not happened, and it's happening just a little bit with the so-called medical marijuana, which is apparently helps a lot of people to do what they need to do to be healed of various things.
I was really excited about it, Harrel, when they passed medical marijuana law in Phoenix, or in Arizona. I was pretty excited about it. I thought, wow, for the first time in 40 years, I may not be a criminal. Wow. I was really excited.
There you go.
But then I got the bad news. I can't have medical marijuana because I'm too healthy.
There you go. That's a good point.
It's what is, I mean, if we abolished all the laws against victimless crimes, if 50 million ex-cons got tired of being treated like second-class citizens, you know, I don't recall anything in the Constitution that said that you could never, you could have your rights to bear arms suspended because you got caught with a plant that should have been illegal in the first place. How do we fight this? I mean, the judges are corrupt. The legal system's corrupt. That's run from the British associations, or from Britain. I don't know who are the bad guys here. Is it the Jews? Is it the bank? Is it the city of London, where which is the equivalent to Wall Street over there? What we fought to found this country. We fought the empire on which the sun never sets. I think they're trying to make us into a clone of that empire, using our armies to go out and kick out the ass. I mean, I've said the war on terror is a war against anyone, anywhere in the world that doesn't want to go along with one world government. And I've got that backed up on my website. West Point just did a study that said if you oppose the New World Order, you might be a terrorist. And the war on terror, again, they're trying to make us into terrorists. They called the militia terrorists. Or no, we did it in the governor's office. The militia is still forming down there. It's forming as deputies under the sheriff, as a posse under the constitutional sheriff. There are some of these sheriffs organized by Sheriff Richard Mack, one of the good guys out there, are saying they won't take our guns, they won't enforce this, and they'll arrest the feds if they come in. So that's a little bright spot here, but I'm really looking at what else can we do except do this county by county, neighborhood by neighborhood, organized and saying, is this good for Americans? You know, not black Americans, not white Americans, not Jewish Americans, but Americans. Is this good for America? If it's good for me and good for my children, then it should be good for you and yours. And if we all work together, we can do this.
Well, we need to do that very badly. And by the way, I have met Sheriff Mack. He's a great guy. He lives in Texas now. He lives in Fredericksburg, Texas. And he is a model for what all sheriffs still need to do to be independent to stand with the people. That's what we're really talking about.
Yes.
Is a people's revolution, that we're people that started this country will come back, and the government we have today is not a good thing. We all know this, but we don't all know it because so many people voted to elect the people we have in office right now. And we have a very, very, as you well know, and I'm sure our listeners well know, we have a very, very, very corrupt government. It is not based on Americanism of the past, not at all.
So the plan, take back, I've said I came up with a concept, the Liberty Village, because I believe, and I've got some links on my site, we settled this whole country with farms and ranches spreading across the country, and they were powered by the wind. Now, we've got the technology today with wind and solar. Obama's idea, the government's idea of greening America is put a cell on top of that mountain to a Chinese company, let them bring over windmills, kill a few eagles, and run that power down the hill through the power company, take their cut of the profits, the power company passes that on to you. My idea of greening America is get out, organize your neighbor, put a windmill and a solar unit on every house, generate your own electricity and grow your own food in the backyard instead of crabgrass, and feed your neighbors if times get tough, and they're going to get tough. And
you got the right idea, absolutely.
And then you got your block organized. You organize with other blocks to compete in producing. Well, let's see. Why don't you use your garage to produce solar panels, sell to your neighbors? Why don't you use your garage to build windmills, sell to your neighbors? Why don't you use your backyard for good tomatoes and sell to your neighbors? And the movement's already underfoot to repeal the marijuana laws. We got Texas, we got Colorado and Washington. That now you unless you got a federal badge, you're pretty safe growing your own pot. And my idea of an open border, folks, let me tell you what my idea of an open border is. Well, let me tell you what my idea of free trade is. And that's, I think, instead of fences, we ought to be putting up tables on the border. You're growing pot down in Mexico, you're growing tomatoes down in Mexico, you're growing bananas down in Mexico, bring them up, we'll trade you for some of our technology. We'll trade you for some of these windmills that we're building up here. We'll just lay your cocaine, lay your pot on a table, and let any American buy this, if they want it. If you want to do heroin, go sit over in that corner and kill yourself. I don't want to pay for keeping you in jail for the rest of your life because you started a line of coke. That's insanity unless you're making money off the jails, unless you're making money off of slave labor, unless you're doing the same thing to Americans that they did in communist China.
And of course, you were very correct about that. They are indeed making money off slave labor, and they certainly don't want to give that up. As you and I have talked on radio before, the drug laws are created to create this slave labor system. They've done that very, very successfully, and let people be responsible for what they put in their own bodies. We let them drink alcohol, which can be very, very, very damaging, as we all know, but yet hemp is forbidden. Why is that? Because they're making a lot of money off it being illegal.
I have another theory. I have another theory on that. They don't want us making the rope to hang them with.
There you go. I like that. Yes.
Yeah, it might be okay if you use nylon. That's oil based. We make money out of that. But it's really it. I mean, it's a matter of us taking back our counties. We can do that with the sheriff. We're not the rebels here. You know, the whole Ron Paul revolution thing, I had a little bit of problem with that because I'm not anti-government. I'm pro-government. If I got the Constitution backed up by the Bill of Rights, the Republican form of government that they guaranteed me. I'm the most pro-government guy you got.
I like that.
And if we support the rights of the individual, you know, I don't care what you do. If you're a fag, whatever you do in your bedroom, that's your business. I really don't care, and I don't want the details. Don't bring it into my schools. Matter of fact, folks, the answer to Sandy Hook, which was a Jewish operation to scare you, to frighten you, to take away your guns. But that wouldn't have happened if we implemented the Timothy Bible College and the Little Red Schoolhouse run by my friend Jake Wade. Now, the Little Red Schoolhouse is going to Africa. We've got pastors in Africa that are trying to follow this and come up with this. Christianity may be right, not right. Part of it, religiosity is the way Jake Wade calls it. But I know Jake Wade personally. He's a good man. He's trying to follow Jesus. And I don't have any problem with that. But he refers to the churches as religiosity. He tries to point out that the churches have got a Masonic cornerstone. That and I say, if you're calling yourself a Christian Zionist, you might as well say I'm a Christian Satanist. Thank you.
Oh yes, you are very correct about that. And Judaism and Freemasonry is essentially the same thing, and they believe in the same things, and that has dominated the so-called Christian churches of today, for sure, for sure.
That's right. That's exactly what they're doing. You know, they've infiltrated. They've taken it over. They run it in there. Same true with the Catholic Church. Who does it? Who? By the way, the Pope resigned, and if there's, I think there's probably the best proof of the of God is the lightning strike on the on the church when the Pope resigned.
I love that. Yes, I downloaded the picture of that. Yes, the Catholic Church, again, again, we're going to anger people here, but it is a corrupt organization, always has been, always will be. And Pope Ratzinger was a bad example if you wish, a good example, a clear example of how all of that is used to manipulate, deceive, and corrupt white Western civilization.
I think you're right on that. The whole, again, from the Council of Nicaea, and they've used it to dominate the world, and they've been warring on the Muslims for 1,000 years. So there's nothing new under the sun, folks. But the information that you should get from this show today is that put the religion on the side. You know, if you want to follow Christian identity, fine. You want to follow Catholicism, fine. Sit there and worship any way you want. If you want to get down on your hands and knees, matter of fact, I'm working with a Muslim on my website right now because the Jews are trying to drive, because they control the media, they are trying to make you think that all the Palestinians are terrorists and all the Muslims are fanatics and out to rape and kill. I don't believe that. And I believe we can call their bluff by working together and just saying, is it good for my block? Is it good for my block? If all the neighbors on my block, I don't know whether my neighbor is a Jew or a Muslim or a Christian on this block, but I'm going to approach every one of them with the idea that we're Americans and we can work together and support the one attempt in the world and the best attempt in the world to give the power back to the people. I think that's what our Constitution, or more specifically, what our Declaration of Independence and Bill of Rights did. It's
That's
what we've got.
It's about. That's what, yes.
It's what we've got. It's what we got to work with, isn't it, Harrel?
Yes, all we've got to work with, and that is what we should be doing, restoring the values that we had before. The whole situation has become very, very, very corrupted, and we need to correct that as much as possible. And the move to take our guns away is yet another manifestation of the so-called globalist New World Order that wants to dominate us. Again, the Freemasons, the Jews, all behind this, and behind them stand powers that be that want to destroy what essentially is Western civilization.
All right. We're out of time here. Harrel Rhome's been my guest. FreeAmerican.com. And look, folks, if you want to support, I only was able to do 30 minutes on Blog Talk today because I need money to pay for the premium. That what they have done is try to break me financially since they haven't been able to kill me yet. And you can send a donation to Clay at freeamerican.com. And I'll send you a copy of Mystery Babylon, which is a history of the Rothschilds, a history of the Bible. It's the what Christian identity was supposed to be about. And you can get that with a donation. If you want the hard copy, then you can send more. And Harrel, if you put the links are under your name to the show for 30 minutes, actually. So thank you for being with me. God bless you all.